So, taking a break from the action and focusing on a backstory of a baby? Who exactly is this baby? Oh, now you've piqued my interest, Kubo. Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, bringing you Bleach, chapter 565, God Like You. So this week's chapter, we get the backstory of Ywhach. At least that's what I was calling him. Turns out the way you say his name is Ywhach. But screw it, I'm just gonna call him Ywhach from now on. So the chapter begins with the introduction of Ywhach's backstory. When he was a baby, he was blind, deaf, mute, and he couldn't move. He didn't possess any means to survive, yet he didn't fear anything. He wouldn't cry even if that task was possible, but he wasn't capable of tears. The baby knew it had no tools at its disposal for survival, yet the baby knew it was capable of surviving. The people around the baby would treat him like some sort of holy, magical being. Whoever touches him would heal them of whatever they're suffering. If you're suffering from lung disease or cancer, you're cured. If you have a broken heart, it will be mended. If you're a coward, you will gain courage. If you are crippled who can't move their arms or legs, you will regain function of your limbs. So how was he capable of healing everyone's ailments? This baby apparently can offer a portion of his soul to whoever laid their hands on him. The portion of the soul has to be just as large enough to fill the missing void needed to mend whatever it could not be mended with only one soul. However, the moment the healing process begins, the knowledge, experience, the talents are absorbed into that portion of the soul, and when the individual dies, that soul, along with everything that portion has absorbed from that said individual, returns to its original owner. Now, those that actually have touched the child have only lived for at least a couple of years, a couple of months, or even a few days. And every time the portion of the soul returns to its original owner, the baby can finally move, his eyes can see, and he can finally hear and speak. When he regained his hearing, the child heard the name of the god that the people worshipped. The child decided that that would be his own name, Ywhach. So yeah, that's how Ywhach came to be. That's how he got his name. He offered portions of his souls to the Quincies, which I'm assuming are the people that would touch him, and whenever they die, those portions come back after absorbing everything that they've learned about this individual, and I guess because of the returned souls, that is how Ywhach was able to move, able to see, hear, and speak. But what I don't get is, how was he created? I mean, who were his parents? I mean, he had to be born in order to exist, so are we ever gonna know who his parents are? Well, maybe not, I guess. So after that flashback, we cut to Ywhach sitting in his throne, observing the Soul Society. He's apparently aware that Mask the Masculine is dead, or should I say James, because he only says James, not Mask. Since Mask is now dead, it has been confirmed now, people, the portion of his soul returns to Ywhach. Now, inside the Vandenreich Palace, Uryuu was actually going to visit Ywhach himself, but he runs into Hashfalt, telling him that Ywhach is sleeping. And whenever he sleeps, his power replenishes. Nobody is supposed to disturb him. Uryuu notices that Hashfalt looked different from the last time they saw him that day. Hashfalt said that him and Ywhach are two plates of the same scale. Whenever Ywhach is sleeping and becomes the father of all Quincies, it's Hashfalt's responsibility to don the ruler's mask. So I guess what he meant by that is, while Ywhach is sleeping, Hashfalt will be the one to take over for him, at least until Ywhach wakes up, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. He tells Uryuu that Ywhach is bound to all the Quincies, and he figures why not he tell Uryuu a couple more information since he is the successor. So we get more of Ywhach's backstory. Now, Ywhach was unique from all the Quincies, since Quincies can gather reishi from their surroundings and use it as they see fit. Ywhach, on the other hand, can distribute portions of his soul. He can do the exact opposite from what Quincy's can do. So when Ywhach grew older, he discovered a more efficient and powerful method to offer people portions of his soul. He would write an initial of the power he wishes to bestow in the individual soul. It would allow him to bestow a more meaningful, significant portion of his soul. The text did not say it was Ywhach's power. It's a power that he would give to a certain individual. Maybe this was how the Stern Reachers came to be. He would etch an initial of a certain power that he would give to each Stern Reacher. So if this is true, then that would mean that Ywhach gave Mask the power of cheering. Yeah. So Uryuu asks Hashfeld how Ywhach is able to write an initial in someone's soul. Well, he says that he already did it to Uryuu. Back during that little ceremony where he had to drink out of a sake cup to commemorate him being the successor. Yeah, apparently what was in that sake cup was Ywhach's blood. And by drinking his blood, he consummated the initial in-soul writing ritual. So I guess that's how the Stern Reachers got their powers. They had to drink Ywhach's blood. Hashfeld approaches closer to Uryuu, saying that it's too late now to be filled with regrets. Hashfeld even knew why Uryuu agreed to meet with the Vandenreich. It was to avenge his mother's death. Since Katagiri died after the Ashwalan, when Ywhach cleansed the Quincy race from impure Quincies, this was one of the most likely theories as to why Uryuu joined the Vandenreich in the first place. And since Hashfeld even suspected this, I'd say this is probably the most logical explanation as to why Uryuu even joined. But since now his soul has been etched by Ywhach, it's too late for him to turn back. He now has a part of Ywhach's soul inside him. Portions of your soul has already been dispersed throughout the entire Serite. Not just the Stern Reachers, but apparently the Shinigami who came in contact with the Stern Reachers. Okay, this part kind of confused me because how in the hell did a Shinigami possess a portion of Ywhach's soul? Granted, we've seen several Shinigami fighting against the Stern Reachers, but did they have to touch the Stern Reacher in order to distribute a portion of Ywhach's soul as well? How does that work? Anyway, according to Hashfeld, Shinigamis and Stern Reachers alike will be offering themselves as tribute to Ywhach once they die. So it doesn't really matter who wins in the end. Whoever dies, their portion of Ywhach's soul will just return back to Ywhach and he'll become even stronger. So it's technically a win-win situation for Ywhach. It doesn't matter if his allies die or if his enemies die, he'll just continue to grow stronger. God damn. I don't know whether to find this incredibly ridiculous or incredibly awesome. Either way, Ywhach is gonna get even stronger, and he's already a major threat in this series as of right now. But he does have some sort of weakness. According to Hashfeld, if he doesn't continue to absorb the essence of others, he will slowly regress into his old blind, deaf, mute, immobile self. So I guess a way for the Shinigamis to beat Ywhach is to either make sure he doesn't absorb any more souls, but in order to do so, that means that they can't die. Unless they come up with a method to prevent the souls to be taken away from Ywhach. And I highly doubt the Stern Reachers will agree to some sort of peace treaty with the Shinigami. So yeah, unless they come up with a way to prevent the souls being absorbed by Ywhach, they're pretty much screwed. This also means that Hashfeld, Uryuu, all the Stern Reachers and Quincies left alive, their fate has already been sealed. They not only have to live for Ywhach, but they would have to die for him as well in order for Ywhach to survive. The sun starts to rise, signaling the second day of the Quincy invasion. As the sun rises, Ywhach gives thanks to all the souls that have perished, because all his senses are still intact, and that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 565. What did I think? Well, this was a very informative chapter of Ywhach's backstory, and I'm really grateful we got this because I was always curious about him ever since he was introduced as the new final main villain. Now that we got some information on Ywhach's backstory, it makes sense, but there are still some questions. Like, How was Ywhach even created? I mean, who were his parents? How was he born? Also, how can a Shinigami get a portion of Ywhach's soul? Do they have to come in contact with a Stern Reacher and it just rubs off on them? How does that work? Well, at least we learn a little bit more on Ywhach's backstory and how his power works. We probably even have learned how the Stern Reachers got their powers and how they were ranked. We know the initial that Ywhach etched onto Uryuu's soul is the letter A. What kind of power did Ywhach give to Uryuu? We don't know. In any case, now that Ywhach has etched a stronger portion of his soul onto Uryuu, that would mean that Uryuu has no choice but to work with the Vandenreich. Although, why hasn't Uryuu told Ichigo and the others about Ywhach if he was aware about him and the Vandenreich this whole time? I know he wants to avenge the death of his mother, but this was a pretty risky move. Maybe Uryuu can just betray Ywhach and the Vandenreich at a later time. Maybe right when Ichigo shows up. Who knows? Also, what about Ryuken? Where the hell is he? Is he aware of Ywhach? Oh, also, Ichigo. Now we know that Zangetsu, aka Quincy Getsu, looks like Ywhach Bach. But that was because it was a manifestation of his Quincy powers. So, which would also mean that Ichigo also has a portion of Ywhach's soul, which is Quincy Getsu, which I think he also inherited that from his mother Masaki. Now, day 2 has started, and it has been stated before by Ywhach that it's going to take 9 days, I believe, in order to take over the world. So, the Shinigami has about a week in order to stop Ywhach and the Vandenreich. Hopefully, Ichigo will make it in time before that week is up. And how to defeat Ywhach? I already stated it before, but another possible theory is to attack him while he's sleeping, because according to Hashfault, whenever Ywhach is sleeping, his power gets replenished. So probably attack him while he's sleeping. So overall, I thought this chapter was pretty good. It was very informative. We learned about Ywhach's backstory. Granted, there were some questions and parts that might confuse some people, but it's still good overall. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 565. Tell me guys, what do you think of this week's chapter? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think of Ywhach's backstory? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe for more videos. And be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 565. I'm Lunar Spawn 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.